Good morning, Year 6, and welcome to the final English lesson of Year 6, where you're going to be writing a backstory for a character. Now then, as well as following your plan from yesterday, what should you do to make sure that you've got an engaging piece of writing, which really develops my understanding of your character? What might you do? Well, you should choose and use your vocabulary very carefully. Think about the effect that it'll have on the reader. The words and phrases that you use can make your writing more lively and interesting. It could create a certain mood, and it could really improve the reader's understanding of a character or a situation. Well, let's look at some examples here. "Sarah, come on, you're holding us up," her mother shouted, irritated. Her brother, George, entered the kitchen and grabbed her arm roughly. Again, how does this help us to understand? What's it give us about the characters and their feelings towards Sarah? Would we still have this sort of understanding if the sentences just ended here, shouted and grabbed her arm? This really gives a good indication of how these characters are behaving towards Sarah. Again, which of the word choices are more effective in the sentence? Sarah sat down at the back, holding her rucksack. Sarah huddled down at the back, clutching her rucksack. Well, this second one definitely gives us more sort of an idea of how sort of lonely, scared into herself she is. Okay, no one's helping her. She's not just sat there holding it. Again, she's huddled into a little ball at the back. Now, it's also important that you can build and maintain cohesion. Remember that cohesion means sort of linking different parts of your story together, and that they flow between one another. And it really helps the reader to understand the order of events. I remember we talked about this before about those cohesive devices. Here they all are. We've got repetitions of certain words or phrases. We've got conjunctions, different sentence openers, adverbials, different sentence lengths, and of course, ellipses. Now then, repetition of certain words or phrases. Well, this was used in the Sarah's backstory example. Again, it was her rucksack is mentioned repeatedly in the text to show how important the contents of it, are to her. She couldn't have lost her compass. She just couldn't. Couldn't. That's like unbelievable. It's like repeating, she couldn't have done it. No, she really couldn't have done. Again, she had nothing left. Nothing. It really does help us to explain and to emphasize Sarah's emotions at this time. Again, what are you doing, stinky rat? Hurry up, stinky rat. It sort of, with George saying this to Sarah, it makes us understand that this is not just a one-off thing. This is obviously a regular name that he calls her, and this is obviously helps the reader to understand of how she may be feeling. Varying sentence lengths. Again, the length of your sentence should depend on its purpose. Short sentences, very short, simple sentences, are effective when building up suspense or to create a particular mood. They generally make it faster to read, whereas longer sentences are very useful when explaining or describing something in detail. They slow down the reading pace. If only one type of sentence is used, the reader can become quite bored with this style. Therefore, you should mix up long and short sentences throughout your writing. Again, if we look at this one here, we've got short sentences here, which help the reader to understand the mood, that anxiousness, that loneliness. They were leaving Lincoln. Sarah felt alone. She did not want to leave Lincoln. What if her dad came back? He'd never be able to find them. That really does create that mood. Whereas long sentences really start to give us more explanation of what is going on. So you should really be mixing these sentences up. And of course, we've got ellipses. She was too exhausted and shocked to do anything other than hang on to her rucksack. She felt her eyes closing. That ellipsis can signal a longer pause in the sentence, and therefore it creates that suspense. Again, it can also be used to show the trailing off of a character's thoughts, that they're just, they've slipped into their own sort of dream bubble in their heads. And again, evoking sympathy or even empathy for a character is a very important way to keep that reader engaged. Descriptions of Sarah's feelings and how she's treated by others in the example backstory were really effective. Her meagre belongings, so not very many. She stifled the sobs that were building up in her throat. No one talked to Sarah. Despair filled her. This makes us want to, the reader wants the situation to improve. So use that in your own. Now, of course, you can make it that your character, that I will become more understanding towards the character that you are describing. That is absolutely fine. Or you could keep them as being mean, and then you could still use these phrases and these words that would really help describe the character. So make sure that you're describing the feelings as well. So, in order to create an engaging piece of writing, which develops the reader's understanding of your character, try to use powerful vocabulary carefully for effect, maintain that cohesion in your writing, and try and get the reader to feel sympathy or empathy for your character. Make them want it to change for the better. Now, it is your time to begin writing your own character's backstory. So use your plan from yesterday, use what we have just discussed now, to create a really effective backstory. I'm really looking forward to reading these Year 6. I love reading your writing, so I honestly cannot wait. Your final piece of writing in Year 6, show me your amazing, amazing work. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you soon.